What is up, everybody? This is my Chaser. Today we're going to work on it some more. Let's go over some ignition stuff and fix some things. So here we have it. This is what's called a waste spark ignition setup. And all my plugs are just terrible. So, this one you can tell doesn't even have anything on the inside anymore. This one is broken. This one, the clip is broken to hold it in, and it's broken in here. So we're going to rewire these. I'm also going to take out the 3 coil packs and the plug wires. I have new coil packs and new plug wires. As you can tell, these are in dire need of replacement. So this is 3 and 4. Two and 5. And I'm going to have to do valve cover gasket soon, so don't worry, that's coming. And then 1 and 6, and this doesn't even have a boot on it anymore. So dire need of replacement. Alright. So all of these are going to have 2 colors. It's going to be a source and a ground, right? The ground is generally black. In this case, black with a white stripe. So ground, ground, ground. And so the ground is on the top of the clip, so we can just, you know, go about it that way. Try to get these wires out like that. That's how bad these plugs are. So here's the new one, and you can see it's got a raised lockout mechanism on it. So we take this and we set ground towards the top. So go in. They both click like that. You lock it in place. New clamp, new plug. I'm just trying to figure out how to take these old ones off, which we'll do now. Good thing is we don't have to be particularly careful. I'm in this case literally just breaking the plug around it because it's just brittle. Now I have actually everything to put new pins on these, but the pins are fine. The crimp's good. There's nothing wrong with the actual pins. And again, ground goes towards the clip, so literally just put it on, till it clicks, click, click, lock it in place, done. It couldn't be any easier. New coil packs. If you look, you've got, this is the output to the spark plug that it's sitting on, and this is the output to the spark plug that it's waste sparking to. So we know at least 3 of these will have this. Alright, 2 more. Bolt these in. And now the waste sparks party piece. 3 coil packs, 6 cylinders, so we have spark plug wires. Now we install the coil packs on 2, 4, and 6. So cylinder 2, cylinder 4, cylinder 6. So we know cylinder 2 will go to cylinder 5. As a matter of fact, these are labeled. So this one goes to 1. It's the longest one, so we know exactly where that's going to be. that's going to go in the way back. Cylinder 5. And then this one actually gets looped because it goes 3 to 4. We just got to plug these back in. Perfect. Throw the beauty cover back on. Couple of Allens. All right. So today we did coil packs, the plug wires, super simple, and then the coil pack connectors, which go bad all the time on 1Js and 2Js for that matter on the VVTi motors. And I think it has to do with the amount of heat that they are subjected to. People just not being careful when they take them off, and they just become super brittle. So in my case today, I didn't even bother trying to depin them. The plastic was just so brittle that literally I could just take a set of pliers and barely squeeze and it would just fall apart. Seems wrong, but I tell you, my number 4 coil pack, so the second one in, the number 4 coil pack had, there wasn't even anything in the center anymore. I literally had to take the terminals, the pins, and stick them on there initially when I changed the spark plugs. So that was really not acceptable. The connectors are cheap. I bought them on Amazon. I think they were $9. I mean, it was super cheap, and they have a locking front tab, so you just slide the pins in, and they're directional, so they only go in one way. Don't force it; it'll just slide in and clicks when it's done, and then you just lock it with the front. That's how those were. I prefer that style. It works really well. But waste spark. So waste spark by definition is exactly that. It wastes a spark. So here's what the 1J VVTi setup is like. So you have your 6 cylinders. Use my little pointing device. 6 cylinders, and every even cylinder had the coil pack, right? So here's the coil packs, and then they're obviously hooked up straight to the spark plug for that cylinder. Now, cylinder 1's spark plug has a spark plug wire going to cylinder 6, because if you know what the crankshaft looks like, it's 1 and 6 go up and down at the same time, and then 2 and 5 go up and down at the same time, and 3 and 4 go up and down at the same time, which is why inline 6 has really good harmonics, and a V12 actually for that matter. So they're connected. So when cylinder 1 needs to fire, the coil pack will fire it, but it will also fire cylinder 6. So it wastes a spark. When this is on combustion, this is actually on intake. So it wastes a spark. Same for cylinder 2 and 5 and 3 and 4. The flip side to that would be sequential ignition, which is this. So each cylinder has its own designated coil pack going to its own designated spark plug. The reason manufacturers went with waste spark is to save cost. And it works great. For high performance stuff, you will almost always see sequential ignition, dedicated ignition, however you want to look at it. But like the 1 and 2J VVTi have waste spark. I know the Toyota Tacoma back in the States with its 5VZ FE engine, that had waste spark. There is the 4G63 for at least some generations had the waste spark. But sequential ignition has its own merits. The 1 and 2J non-VVTi had sequential ignition. Audi R8 sequential ignition. I know the Honda K series had sequential ignition, or has sequential ignition, I should say. They're both good. Once you start making big power, the waste spark will have issues because you'll just have issues. You need to upgrade stuff. You need to upgrade stuff on both, really. Personally, I prefer sequential ignition. If you lose a coil pack, say I lose number 1 coil pack, I just lose that one cylinder. Whereas if I lose number 6 coil pack here, I lose 1 and 6. So I prefer sequential ignition. To me, it's a better system. On that note, my Chaser will get a standalone engine management for various reasons. down the road I want to get a bigger turbo, different manifold, different intake, blah blah, bunch of stuff. And tuning the factory piece is, well, not really possible. So I've been in contact with Haltech, and they have a plug-and-play solution, which makes it super simple. And the ECU is capable of driving sequential spark. So that's the plan, is to get most likely the Haltech, and then just run a sub harness from the ECU up to the cylinder head for 6 coil packs. Now, which coil packs I haven't decided yet. I can go for the 1 or 2J non-VVTi. They drop right in. The Toyota Yaris has a set that's actually pretty good. You know, I was able to get 6 instead of 4. Audi R8 coils are actually really good. They're a little shorter than normal VW coils. They're very small, so they should fit really well. Then there is the LS coils, be it from a 5.7 LS1 or 6-liter LS LQ4, or the, you know, so there's choices there. There's a million choices, because with the standalone you really can put whatever you want in there. So there is that. Today also I did a bunch of suspension work. I say suspension work because I inspected a bunch more things. I realized today I need to get the arms for the rear to adjust everything. I don't have enough adjustment in my stock stuff, and yeah, it's just not going to work the way I want it to. So I'm looking at getting some suspension arms. Also going to do diff bushings, possibly subframe bushings when I do the diff install, so that's coming. And let's see, coilovers. So currently the car has JZX coilovers, and I'm sure some people have great experience with them. I do not. And it might just be that particular set is worn out, older. I'm not sure. I'm been in contact with a company in Australia to get a custom set of coilovers, and so that should happen relatively soon. And then last but not least is I picked up a Fujitsu Legalis exhaust for the car. I have it in storage right now. I haven't put it on. I got to get the gaskets. I picked it up used through Kruber. So if you guys need parts, Kruber ships worldwide. It's super easy to use. So go ahead and try that out. And yeah, so next week we'll do some more work on the Chaser. Hopefully I'll see you then. Take it easy.